Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how to find evidence and how to put that amazing evidence in your homemade graphic organizer. You know your homemade graphic organizer, the one that looks like this. We're going to use that today to state our claim, and I'm going to show you how to use an article like this one to fill it out. So the first thing we need to make sure we have before we can do anything else inside that graphic organizer is we have to have a claim. My claim, I'm going to show you how the hunter-gatherer food chain should feed America. So in the box that says my claim, I'm going to write the hunter-gatherer food chain should feed America. I know that looks like drain, but it's not. It says chain. The hunter-gatherer food chain should feed America. We didn't give you guys the hunter-gatherer food chain as an option because it's actually really pretty hard to support it. So we gave you the three options that are easiest to support because we would have to read less of the Omnivores Dilemma to you, and it would be easier for you to make your claim and then find your evidence. So the first step was that I made sure I knew what my claim was, and I put it on my organizer. The next step is to find some articles, like this one. You're going to have a different doc for each different food chain. So what you want to do when you go to look for your articles is you're going to look for the doc that matches the food chain you chose. And you're going to use those articles to do your research and to find your evidence. But I'm using the hunter-gatherer food chain, and I'm going to use this article right here to find my evidence today. This article is from NPR, so I know it's a verified source, it's a good source, and it says, "Are hunter-gatherers the happiest humans to inhabit the earth?" Or to inhabit Earth. And then the article goes to prove why the hunter-gatherer food chain makes people happier. And there's this cool picture from a tribe that the author was following. And I'm going to read you a little bit of the article, and I'm going to stop when I get to my evidence, because the next step is to read. You're going to read an article and look for evidence. There's an idea percolating up from the anthropology world that may make you rethink what makes you happy. The idea is not new. It surfaced in the popular consciousness back in the late 1960s and helped to galvanize a growing environmental movement. And now several books are bringing it back into the limelight. The idea is simple. Perhaps the American and European way of living isn't the pinnacle of human existence. Humanity hasn't been marching in a linear fashion towards some promised land. Perhaps Western society isn't some magical state in which technology frees us from the shackles of acquiring basic needs and allows us to maximize leisure and pleasure. Instead, maybe modernization has done just the opposite. Maybe the most leisurely days of humanity are behind us. Way, way behind us. Did our hunter-gatherers have it all better off? James Lancaster asks in a recent issue of The New Yorker. We're flattering ourselves by believing that their existence was so grim and that our modern civilized one is by comparison so great. Lancaster writes. This idea surfaces over and over again in the fascinating new book by anthropologist James Sussman called Affluence Without Abundance. I think I got my pages in the wrong order. Sussman has spent the last 25 years visiting, living with, and learning from one of the last groups of hunter-gatherers left on Earth, the Khoisan, or Bushmen in the Kalahari Desert of Namibia. A study back in the 1960s found the Bushmen had figured out a way to work only about 15 hours each week acquiring food and another 15 to 20 hours on domestic chores. The rest of the time, they could relax and focus on family, friends, and hobbies. In Sussman's new book, he offers rare glimpses of what life was like in this efficient culture and what life was like for the vast majority of humans' evolution. What we think of as modern humans have likely been on Earth about 200,000 years. I'm going to skip this part because it's kind of it doesn't really help. So he asked the question, what do you think this idea of the hunter-gatherer way of living makes people the happiest they can be? Is there anything that suggests this to be the case? Look, the Bushman Society wasn't a Garden of Eden. In their lives, there are tragedies and tough times. People occasionally fight after drinking, but people didn't continually hold themselves hostage to the idea that the grass is somehow greener on the other side. That if I do X and Y, maybe my life will be measurably improved. So their affluence, or like superiority, was really based on having a few needs that were simply met. Just fundamentally, they have a few wants, just basic needs that were easily met. They were skilled hunters. They could identify 100 different plant species and knew exactly what parts to use and which parts to avoid. And if your wants are limited, then it's very easy to meet them. By contrast, the mantra of modern economics is that of limited scarcity, that we have infinite wants and limited means, and then we work and we do stuff to try and bridge the gap. Okay, so this article is claiming that hunter-gatherer societies are happier. And I look right here, and it says their affluence or their superiority is based on having a few needs that are met. Just fundamentally, they have few wants, just basic needs that are easily met. By contrast, the mantra of modern economics is that of limited scarcity, that we have infinite wants and limited means. So, the hunter-gatherer society should feed America, one, because hunter-gatherer societies are happier. I'm going to pull out my organizer and I'm going to write that in. Hunter-gatherer societies are happier. And now I'm going to put in quotes right here, one quote mark to open, and I'm going to write in the line from this article that I thought was so important. That affluence is really based on having a few needs that are met. And then I'm also going to add this second line. It says, by contrast, the mantra on economics is that of limited scarcity, that we have infinite wants and limited means. All right. So right there, I have my quotes. I have my lines that make me think that this is good evidence. Hunter-gatherer societies should feed America because hunter-gatherer societies are happier. I got that from these two lines of the text. And now what I need to do is right here where it says article title, I need to write the title of this article. The article list that you guys are going to have more than one or two articles. They're going to have a lot. So we need to make sure that we remember where we got our article or where we got our information from. Because later when we write the paper, you're going to need that information. Okay. And that's all it is. You look at your claim, you read an article, you think, okay, how does this article support my claim? But you want to make sure each piece of evidence is clear and unique. And then you want to find lines from your text that support it. So the hunter-gatherer food chain should feed America because hunter-gatherer societies are happier. And we like being happy. And these are lines from the text that support it. And this is the article I got it from. That's all you have to do. Today, what I want you to do now is I want you to make sure your claim is clear in your graphic organizer. And then I want you to go through the articles that go along with your food chain and read one or two of them and find one solid piece of evidence You don't have to find evidences 2 or 3 today. Just find evidence 1. Find one solid piece of evidence, what the evidence is, the quotes, so that you know where you got it from, because you may want to quote these in your paper, and then the article that it came from. So which article you read. That's what I need you to do today. When you're done, I want you to go and take a new picture of your graphic organizer. If you weren't able to figure that out yesterday, I need you to make sure today you can start taking pictures of your graphic organizer and turning them in through that Google form. That way we know that you're working. I know you can do this. I've shown you it's not that hard. If you need support, please make sure that you contact your teacher, or you can contact me, Mrs. Taylor. You can email or use Google Classroom, and someone will be happy to help you figure out evidence to support your claim. I know you can do it. Have a great day, guys.